an Ironic Media production. Visit us at ironickmedia.com.
You're crazy, man. You're a loser. Playoffs?
It's the Marc and Lowell Show.
The Marc and who?
Starring the meteorologist who does it for the viewers.
Smell!
Lowell Meltzer.
Can you get out of here?
And the man who rides the coattails of his friends and family. Mark Ronick.
Hey guys, it's enough with the amplifier.
And now, here they are. Radio's equivalent of a dial-up connection.
Hello, boys.
Marc and Lowell.
Well, welcome back.
We're here. We did it. We finally are back.
We are really back. It's good to be back.
It is. I have a good feeling about this, and I think we're going to hit a single rather than a home run.
Yeah, well, rather than striking out all the time, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
It's progress.
Right. So how you been?
I've been good. It is good to be back. And this is a different start to how we would normally start the Marc and Lowell Show. And that's because we're looking at this as a rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of weird to call it Mandel 2.0. Behind the scenes, we've been calling it that, where we've been doing this for a really long time. It's weird to just now say it's 2.0.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing these days, isn't it? When you rebrand something, it's always like 2.0.
Yeah, but I feel like we should be at least at like 6.2 or something.
Right, 6.241. Right.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know what we do about that, but oh well. Well, it's like I said, rebirth.
Yes, we're 2.0ing it, and that's that. Just deal with it.
That's right. So it's a little weird because we've already recorded the episode you're about to hear, and we are recording this part of the show after that said recording. So it's weird because, Lowell, you were actually with me in studio during that recording.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are in a spot in your house where you normally would not be recording with me and using a different mic. I feel like we've gone back about 7-8 years, and you're using the old USB mic that you plug into your computer.
Yeah, well, we've been on a hiatus, so it's been hard to record. And my wife did a massive cleanup in the basement, and one of the casualties was, unfortunately, the soundboard and microphone and wires associated with have all been bunched up and wrapped around into a corner.
Ooh.
So it's a major fweep, a high level of fweep.
Did you give permission for her to do that?
Did not, and feel that maybe there was some slight anger that was done when this was done.
Oh, like, when are we getting rid of this shit?
Right. So along those lines, yeah. So, because what I told her was what I was going to do, because with the cleanup, I said, what I'm going to do is I'll move all that equipment into my upstairs eBay office, and I'll set up a little area, mini studio in there for when we record from now on. So that's what I'm in the process of doing here. But in the meantime, I broke out the old trusted and sure, what is this one called? The Samson mic. The Samson mic.
Yeah, the Samson.
Which is a good microphone, but there's no soundboard, there's no levels, it is what it is. So
that's right. So are we speaking to you right now in your eBay office?
Yeah, I'm in the eBay office right now, the fourth.
I didn't know there
bedroom.
was an eBay office.
Yeah, that's where I keep all the stuff and everything, yeah.
How did I not know that? When I've been to your house before, I don't feel like I've known about the eBay office.
I feel like I've shown it to you.
I mean, maybe once when you first moved in there.
Yeah, well, next time you guys come over, which we have to talk about for another show, but, returning to the Christmas.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. All right, we'll have to talk about that.
We'll have to work that out, yeah.
So do you guys you don't have any big plans?
No, same thing. Just come on over and do the thing.
All right. Well, then we will talk about that. And in the meantime, let's get our listeners onto the show. So today we do talk about our rebirth of the show. We discuss a little bit of Lowell's struggles during the pandemic. I think in particular more during quarantine. Mm-hmm. And then a bit of a rebirth for Lowell. He's we'll get into it here later in the show, but he's gotten into the workout scene again.
Yes, it's very exciting. I'm excited for myself.
Stick around and let's dive in with a very special guest to welcome us back.
Resistance is futile. It's the Marc and Lowell Show.
I have a special guest for the Welcome Back Marc and Lowell Show.
Don Geronimo?
No, not Don Geronimo. Although back on the air in the Washington, D.C. area.
I wish him well.
Here is your special guest. You won't believe who decided to come join us.
All right, who?
Dr. Spatzo, my creative labs, please enter your name.
Give me Marc and Lowell.
Well, look who it is. It's my old friends, Marc and Lowell, the hosts of my favorite podcast, the Marc and Lowell Show. I know we are in the middle of a pandemic, but I do not recall the CDC requiring comedy podcasts to stop releasing new content. My iTunes podcast feed was getting too cluttered, so I deleted Marc and Lowell to make room for more Saved by the Bell recap podcasts. Sorry, not sorry. Say hi to Jonah and Lisa for me. Maybe they can do a better job hosting the Marc and Lowell Show, so we can actually get a new episode more than once a year. Oh wait, there has not been a new episode this year. Sorry BBB. Our conversation will be kept in strict confidence. Memory contents will be wiped off after you leave. So, tell me about your problems.
There he is, Dr. Spatzo. Lowell.
Marc and Lowell.
So that was courtesy of our producer, Aaron Lamb.
That was excellent work.
Yeah, he did a great job with that.
Thank you.
And for those of you who may be new and don't know who Dr. Spatzo is, we will play a little clip of us explaining the Dr. Spatzo story from our childhood. But very quickly, I will say it was a computer-generated voice, if you couldn't tell, created, I think, in MS-DOS.
Yeah, it was one of the first speech synthesis programs. I remember using it on the Commodore 64, but I think at your house we had it on the PC. Right?
I had it on the PC. I might have even had it on the Atari 800.
Yeah, something like that. And there was another one, the Parrot one, too.
The Parrot one, too. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so we used to play with that. And actually, it wasn't just voice synthesizer. It also had somewhat of an AI to it, because it said at the end, if you heard the clip, it said, tell me about your problems. So you could type in, I'm having a really bad day. And it has different answers to that question.
Right. And it was like the basic, and this is how like all the computer games at the time were based too.
Yes.
They would present you with a problem and you'd have to try and answer it, and it would have a certain number of answers for your answer.
Yes.
And like what would get frustrating sometimes is if you were saying something that wasn't in the program and it would please retype.
Yeah.
Or like in a game, it would be like, I do not understand. Please try again.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
like
So anyway, back on track. It has been, even though we haven't talked a lot, we have talked a lot about the show.
Right.
And it's been a roller coaster. It's been like, we're back. We're going to do it. Let's just get started. We had a plan how it was going to all unfold and everything was sounding good. And then nothing.
Right. We would get all excited. We'd have these conversations on the phone and then
nothing.
It would just piddle out.
Yeah. So, and then there was a time where we were like, okay, so we sold Realm for those of you
they don't know.
Who doesn't know?
I don't know if they don't know that.
Yeah.
We sold Realm.
We sold Realm and so Realm is no more.
Right.
And that's okay. It was just time.
Right. We got an offer we couldn't refuse.
Yes. And
can we say who bought it, or do you not going into
well, yeah, Vince Russo bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he then wanted the Marc and Lowell show to still exist on the network, which he's actually now decided it's not even called Realm. It's entirely different.
Yeah, he rebranded the whole thing, which is like this. That's what happens.
That's exactly what happens. So anyway, he wanted us to still keep the Marc and Lowell show on the Realm network.
Right.
And it was going to be a pay-only format. And it was going to be very heavily 80s based. We were going to like break down the 80s.
That was going to be the theme. Like each show would have a different 80s genre to it. Yeah. And we got excited for that for like about 5 minutes. And then we realized it was going to be like I think we realized it was a shit ton of work. Right?
Yeah. We haven't really figured out even what the reasoning is behind those times where we just were like,
I think it was just pandemic fatigue too. Like I think you and I have had some conversations. I went through some dark times. Like
you had a hard time during the quarantine and all that.
Yeah, I think I just flat out told you like at some point that like I do want to do this. I'm just not I can't bring myself to do it right now.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to go down into the basement and turn on the microphone and be like on
Yeah.
for this.
Yep.
And I said, it'll come, but I can't do it right now. You know?
And then for me, it was, so I started my business, Ironic Media, and
Right.
that really actually officially launched. There was stuff going on prior, but it officially launched almost simultaneously when COVID was officially announced.
Right.
And it ended up being, for my business, a blessing because I ended up being able to be home, able to work my full-time job and still be home to be able to give my business some attention too.
Correct.
And by the end of 2020, I actually became full-time on Ironic Media.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was putting all my heart and soul into that. And let's just be honest, I was the one doing most of the work for the Marc and Lowell show.
Sure, absolutely.
And I didn't have it in me to put all that effort into both things.
Right. And we even had to take the workload off of you. We even got Aaron Lamb to agree to help out.
Yeah, he was going to do
Yeah.
all the post-production stuff.
We did have conversations about how we wanted to switch up the show, and with the Vince Russo thing with the 80s, and I think we both were just like, this is just a lot of work.
Too much weight.
Let's think of something else. And then we kind of just said to each other, well, why don't we just do what we're doing, just knock it up maturity level wise a little bit, and make shorter shows.
Right.
Because in all honesty, you and I both were very busy to take an hour or two to record. Why don't we take that hour or two and divide it up into several shows? Because a lot of times what was happening too, and this was also happening a lot of times before the pandemic, is we'd make plans to do the recording, and then you'd have something with Maya or something,
Right.
or I have something with the kids, or I'd call you and be like, look, the kids are
or work would get in the way.
right. I'd say, I have a live shot. I'm not going to be home till 8:00. I can't do it tonight. I'm going to be wiped out. So we ran into a lot of that. And so now I think with this new plan we have to chop up the show and release it, that'll work out a lot better.
Yeah, and what's funny is it was your birthday when we talked. The idea of the show coming back just became a reality.
Right.
We had probably talked for an hour catching up for your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And it was just reborn again. We were by the end of the call, we're like, okay, we're going to do it next week, Saturday. You were coming here, and here we are.
And here we are. I mean, because what it really comes down to is just doing it. Now that the kids aren't doing sports and stuff, the winter's pretty much wide open on the weekends for me. So we can knock it out on a Saturday.
And you're just going to drive here every Saturday, right?
Hell no.
How long did that take you? 45 minutes, 50 minutes?
No, it's 50. It's 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's 50 minutes.
You know what the problem is it's not like you go on highway all the way here.
No, it's not.
You can get caught at some lights and stuff like that.
It's a bit of a drive.
It's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah.
I mean, but it comes out good on the... We do it over Zoom.
Oh, yeah, when we do it over Zoom and everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And even now, I mean, if we want to, I guess we can release the video as we do it.
We're going to definitely hold on to the video and distribute it in some way at some point. We have to figure it out. And so let's dig into that real quick, because then I want to dig into a couple other fun things. But I do want to give the audience, I feel our listeners deserve explanation and discussion on where the fuck we've been.
Right. To be completely honest, what do we say? Just not feeling it? I mean,
yes,
just
hashtag not feeling it.
Yeah, hashtag not feeling it. I mean, I think that's where it was. And that was kind of like a mental thing for me.
Yeah.
Working in the media and being confronted with all the COVID BS every day and having to be around people when we couldn't get vaccinated. And there was a lot of anxiety with that. Coming home at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was just come home and have some beer and sit on the couch. And then there was a lot of times we were kind of working from home anyway, and that kind of got used to that a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Just wasn't feeling it. But now that I think I told you, that I started doing the CrossFit, mentally I started getting a lot better. Now I feel like I'm in a good place.
What do you think's the biggest thing that you've noticed as far as mentally how it's helped you?
Before I started working out, I gained about 15 pounds during the pandemic. Went up to 217 about, and my pants didn't fit. And that was kind of I was like, all right, we got to do something here. So I told Allie, I was like, we got to do something here.
Or did Allie say, lol, we got to do something?
Yeah, no, never. She would never. So then I started looking around, and I didn't want to do the traditional gym thing because it always goes the same way. You're gung-ho for couple of months, and then you kind of just fall off the wagon because it gets to be repetitive. So somebody told me about CrossFit. And there was a place by me, and I went to him, and I'm like, "Listen, you got to help me. You got to help. Yeah,
and
I need help.
Oh, yeah, you do need some help.
Oh, do you need help?
Yeah.
And I said, look, and this was the truth. I haven't worked out since Reed is born. I have not gone to the gym in 7 years.
Wow.
Completely out of shape.
Wow.
And this is from somebody who used to go all the time.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
So like down in when we lived in Canton in the city all the time.
Yep.
So I said, here's where I am. I just want my pants to fit again. I'd like to drop the 15 I put on. And they want you to come 5 days a week, but somebody like me in my 40s, you need that day in between.
CrossFit's serious shit.
Yeah, you get very sore.
Yeah.
Like very sore.
Yeah, especially in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going 3 days a week and it's like perfect. I lost 12 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
All my pants are too big for me now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the clouds have like parted. Like I sleep better.
Yep.
I feel more mentally charged and it's helped me be more positive. It's just completely flipped me around. And I don't know if that's because the blood is flowing in my body again or like I'm getting more.
Yeah, well, all sorts of stuff happens when you start moving your body and doing exercise. So what we're thinking right now is shorter episodes and doing them at least once a week. For the people watching or listening live, we don't know yet what day of the week that'll be, but what we'll do is we'll promise that on that day of the week, every week, during a season of the Marc and Lowell show, it'll be there.
And this also forces us to give you like better content. Like we don't have to do all these filler things that we used to do.
Right.
I mean, even though some of them like were home runs, like, we do with the lists and things like that.
Oh, yeah, and we'll still
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, we'll just chop it up to make it more shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then it doesn't take up as much of your time.
Yep.
Or if you're driving, you can listen to 3 in a row if you want, then fine.
Yeah. And also one thing I want to do for our audience is I want us to show more of the behind the scenes stuff. We should say this. One of the huge reasons why we did this is because we would hear from you guys randomly, from random listeners, just saying like, hey, are you guys coming back? Or like some people like, what the fuck, come back.
Right, yeah.
Like,
what are you guys doing? Right.
Yeah. And look, now I'm for a living now teaching other people how to do a proper podcast. I got to be doing my own podcast.
Right. And I think this is a great platform for you because you get to demonstrate your skills of like leading the show. And then, if we knock it up a notch maturity level, you can say, but I think this is good because then you do have your podcast now to say, all right, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
So, and I think, we had even kicked around some ideas making Mandel like a specialty show too. Remember we were talking
wasn't
about,
that around the 80s thing that we were saying?
No, even before the 80s, we talked about like having guests on to talk about meditation and
and we were
like
going to
that.
actually like dig into real things that maybe that interested us and explore and learn about them with our audience listening. So and
then that seemed like a lot of work.
That seemed like a lot of work too. So I think this is the reason. So I think that's actually a good way to wrap it up because we're looking at this as let's do some concentrated regular content every week and let's see how our audience responds. Mm-hmm. If we see that we're growing and then we hear from our listeners that they want more content, then we're going to expand again. So we're just basically like taking a step back and regrowing the show.
Right. For the most part, everyone should be pretty satisfied with what we're doing. It's just we're doing the same kind of show, just chopping it up more so you have more episodes to deal with just because our time constraints are pretty tight. Let's be honest. I mean,
and then, if there's a demand for more content, we can put out more. We can also put out some extra content like we used to where we would charge for it.
Right.
Then it becomes worth more of our time, putting in more of our time.
Right, if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because, losing money on the Realm sale that we actually had to pay to get out of it.
Yes, right.
was it's tough, so we need the money.
Right, yes. Wow, I'm getting flashbacks from old shows that we would do.
Not your marshmallow vodka show.
Yeah, no, not that one. And with that, let's end with a game.
Okay.
Brought to you by Poddex.
Oh, see, we're our first sponsor.
Yes, and if you are a podcaster or thinking about starting a podcast and you need some help, some inspiration, some ideas, Poddex has these literally decks of cards that have all sorts of categories. So the one I'm holding right now is Poddex Would You Rather.
Oh.
Okay, now they also have decks that are episode ideas, all sorts of stuff. You got to check them out, Poddex. And if you buy decks, use the promo code Mandel.
There you go, our first sponsor.
DL. Mandel. And that will give us some credit, and that will give you, I believe, it's either 5 or 10% off. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
So, Lowell, what would you like to do? What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you? Or would you rather?
How dare you?
Okay. I'm going to open up the How Dare You deck of cards, and what we'll do is randomly draw from them.
Okay.
I'm going to mix them up poorly because I never learned how to shuffle.
Yeah. All right.
These at the bottom. Pick from the top?
Sure. Just take the top one.
Okay.
All right.
How Dare You by Pod Decks. What is the most trouble that you ever got into at home / with your parents? What do you think mine is?
When your dad found the bong in your room.
Yes.
That's pretty bad.
That Jonah left in my room. And that was bad. Not in the sense that I got in like serious trouble. I just had the most serious dad talk that I think I had ever had.
Yeah, it was like the disappointment dad.
Yeah, and it was that if I ever find this again in my house is what he would say.
Yeah, in my house.
There's going to be some serious consequences.
Right.
And then I've told this story, so I'll make it quick.
Mm-hmm.
One time, driving, teenager, still had the...
Learners?
No, not the learners, but your first year, I can't remember what it's called. All my kids just
like
went through
restriction
it.
Or,
I can't remember what that.
Oh, what the hell's it called?
I can't remember what it's called.
I want to preliminary or
what the hell is it called? What is it? Does it start with a C?
It's like
your
preliminary or
I cannot.
It's like you're on a restriction preliminary.
It's not a restricted license.
It's you gonna Google it? I thought you were gonna Google it.
Oh, Google it.
To get the right answer. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Driver's license. I don't even know what to call it because I don't know how to Google it. Driver's license 16.
No
maybe?
good. Maybe somebody can respond. Oh,
yeah, that's what I was actually looking for. 16.
It's
years old.
It's the
rules.
learner's permit, but then it's your license, but it's
18. Provisional.
Provisional.
Hey!
That's it. Yay, there you go. Provisional. Right.
Provisional.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Sean Parks got it, I think, at the same time as us.
Provisional license.
Yes. Okay. So on a provisional license where you have to be in by midnight, and I was like literally 2 minutes late. Like 12:02, I got home, which means I actually got in the driveway probably on time,
right?
But not in the house, and I got my curfew shortened for like 3 weeks or something like that. Yeah, but that's not horrible.
I was like, I want to say it was maybe like Reed's age or maybe a little bit older, and my friend had like this slingshot, and we had a babysitter.
Yeah.
And we were shooting stuff with the slingshot, and I fired. I think I've told this story too.
That's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
This is the most trouble I've ever been in, and I shot it up in the air and just didn't think anything of it. And like 10 seconds later, heard this humongous glass breaking shatter.
Yes.
And I had shot this rock, and it had hit somebody's sliding glass door window.
Yes.
And then they called the police, and like a police officer came by and like questioned us about what happened. And like the kid I was with was like, I don't know what happened. And then I like fucking cracked. I'm like, it was me. And like, I was so upset about it. But I think the one thing that my parents spared from me was like, I think they saw when they got home with the babysitter, I think that babysitter never sat for us again.
Yeah.
They saw like how upset I was, and like they didn't
punishment enough.
What could they say? You know, but like that was definitely like, as far as being scared and all that was like the worst.
We just didn't do a lot of that bad of things, or at least didn't get caught.
No, right. At least didn't get caught. Yeah, we didn't really do. I mean, we've of course found ourselves in weird situations a lot.
Yeah, we'll dig into those more, and I'm sure you can find those on the best ofs as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we want to hear from you, our listener. What is the most trouble that you got into at home or with your parents? You heard Lowell's story back with his babysitter, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure some people have some doozies for sure.
Yeah, like I had said, I don't feel like we really had anything that crazy. You know, I think some people might look at our stories and be like, "Oh, that was the most trouble you've been in."
Oh, yeah, you got off easy.
Yeah. So we want to hear from you. We want your answer. We'll post this question on our Facebook and Instagram. Please go there and share your story with us. Let us know a time that you got in the most trouble at home or with your parents. And Lowell, as we sign off here, it makes me think about signing off of Zoom. Everybody seems to be using Zoom now through this whole pandemic.
Right.
It has never goes smoothly when I'm signing off of Zoom with somebody or multiple people. There's that awkward 3 seconds when you say goodbye and everyone's looking for the end meeting button.
Yeah, you hit leave and you're like, all right, I'm leaving. And then it's like, are you sure you want to leave? And you're still like, and then your face gets all annoyed. And I'm sure that they see the annoyed look on your face. Yes.
That's why it's such an awkward, because they have that like 3 seconds where it's like they're getting a look like as if they're a fly on the wall for a moment.
And it's annoying. Right. I run into that all the time with Zoom interviews that I do for work. And it's like, it's yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's very awkward. Once in a while, I'll get into a groove where I can really hit that button. Like I'll start to say goodbye as I'm hitting that button because I'm anticipating the second the "Are you sure?" warning. Yeah, so that's perfect. All right, well, stick around, everybody. We are going to say our goodbye for this episode, but stick around. We called this for years at the end of our shows. Usually as it ends, there's a few moments of silence, and then what we call the Easter egg. And I was thinking about it, Lo. I feel like the Easter egg is a little outdated. It's more like in the movies, the end credit scenes.
You know what? People still use the Easter egg term. I think you're all right with that. Yeah, I think you're all right with that.
Okay, good. All right, then I'm keeping it. So stick around for the Easter egg where you're going to hear an old clip of Lowell and I first introducing Dr. Spatzo to you. So thanks a lot, everybody. We are glad to be back and hope you'll stick around for this ride with this new rebirth of the Marc and Lowell Show.
Bye-bye.
Flashback.
So, but Lowell, the things that we would type in was not with the parrot.
Oh, it wasn't?
It was with this guy.
Dr. Spatzo. My creative labs, please enter your name.
Dr. Spatzo, that's right.
Dr. Spatzo.
That's right.
And so Dr. Spatzo... Dr. Spatzo is the best way to describe him. I was thinking about how do we describe this to listeners, and he is the Siri of the old Windows operating system.
Yeah, except he doesn't do anything. He just says what you say. You say. He was like a shrink, right? You'd ask him questions.
Yes.
Dr. Spatzo, my creative labs, please enter your name. Hello, Marc and Lowell. My name is Dr. Spatzo. I am here to help you. Say whatever is in your mind freely. Our conversation will be kept in strict confidence. Memory contents will be wiped off after you leave. So tell me about your problems.
Tell
me about your problems.
After you left.
After you left.
So Lowell and I used to play with this thing all the time. He'd come over my house, and I had it on my computer. And we would try to get him to say different things. And so, yes, you're right, Lowell. He was like a psychiatrist, a virtual psychiatrist. He would constantly try to ask you what your problems are.
Right.
And
right,
so
right.
you could type in what your problems are, and he'll give you, obviously back then the software wasn't that smart, but it would just pick up some key words that it would understand and then respond based on those key words. I tried to curse at him. I think I wrote F you, and he said, "Hey, don't talk to me like that." So that kind of thing.
Didn't we used to say, like, I have smelly farts?
Oh, yes.
Or I have, like, stuff like that. We used to write stuff like that.
So
I do not understand.
Right. So one thing we would do is...
That's when you put in the name.
When it asks you for your name, Lowell and I used to type DOODIE 100 times until all of a sudden he would just stop you and say... Nam too long.
Yeah, nam too long. Do-dia. But then we'd write it out like DOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO dia 2 dia 2 dia 6 dolar.
So I was trying to think of the different ways we used it, and you're bringing them all up now. And that's the whole problem. When I want to surprise you, there are definitely things that I can't remember that would be so great to have you there. But I had to surprise you with this. For example, so what I did is tried to make him a little more relevant.
Okay. Oh, so you had him do some drops for us?
So here's a drop that he did.
Lowell has bad luck at restaurants with hipster dope waiters.
I like hard to hipster dope waiters.
Yeah, it's so hard to understand. I think he says Lowell gets very grumpy when he has to deal with hipster dope waiters.
Lowell has bad luck at restaurants with hipster dope waiters.
I mean, so hard to understand sometimes.
This is like the beginning of the speech thing.
Yeah. So here, how about this, Lowell?
POE.
Yeah, POE.
Or maybe it's better if we do it like this.
Bori BBB.
No, that was good.
Bori BBB.
That's perfect. You should even keep that as a drop.
I know. And then I thought of this.
Fecal.
That's the brother of the dictionary guy.
Yeah.
Fecal.
And then I remembered that, I don't know if you remember this, if you were just to bang down on your keyboard a whole bunch of numbers, and you tell him to say it, you always have to type the word say, and then whatever else you type after that, he will repeat.
Right.
So, for example, I just hit a bunch of numbers, and then here's what he says.
9 septillion, 876 sextillion, 893 quintillion, 456 quadrillion, 123 trillion, 638 billion, 295 million, 374,101.
That's nerdy.